Moving on, long ball number 2. We talked about leaked badge at the end of last week, a new team on the west side of Michigan. So West Michigan Soccer confirmed as AC Grand Rapids entering MLS Next Pro. And one of the things that got my eyebrow raised is we kind of maybe had less than effusive language when describing the badge at our first glance, and really surprised on the official announcement that this is a Matt Wolff design.
Yeah, look, I mean, Matt Wolff has done some incredible stuff in American soccer. I'm not going to shade the guy because I'm not a huge fan of this AC Grand Rapids badge. I imagine that Mr. Wolff was taking direction from his client. He just, I don't think he probably had complete creative freedom. They probably had a vibe or a look in their heads. I do think that Chris
Made up FIFA team
is right that, well, there's that, but also maybe Hogwarts. It does feel a little bit Hogwartsian. It feels a little Harry Potter. And the other part, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't want to tear it down. There are worse badges out there. There are worse names out there. As much as I am kind of skewering the idea that you're an AC. Are you an association soccer club? Are you a athletic club of some type? Or do you have a weight room that I can sign up for? I mean, that part of it is odd to me because I do think too many people in American soccer are chasing this thing of like some sort of European legitimacy off of a name. I mean, the most ridiculous example of this, and I was thinking about it the other day, of course, is Real Salt Lake. You're not a Royal Soccer Club, Real Salt Lake. You're in Utah. Like Real means royal. That's why Real Madrid is Real Madrid. It's because they were given that title by the King of Spain. You can't possibly be royal. But so on the egregious level scale, AC Grand Rapids is nowhere near that. It's just, it's fine. It's fine, Rob. And now that it's confirmed, I will say again, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We can pull it down though. We don't need to stare too much at that, but kind of brings up the question that there's reporting. In the morning kick around Discord server, they referenced an article from Backfield and Joseph Lowry talking to the president of MLS Next Pro, saying that they're going for 40 to 50 teams in MLS Next Pro, currently sitting at 29, 27 of the 29 being reserve teams for MLS clubs, 2 independents. Right. They've got about half a dozen or so independent clubs in the pipeline, including AC Grand Rapids. So curious to get some feedback from fans. If your city was dabbling in this, which direction would they go?
First of all, a little bit of the catching up on the news. So this is Charles Altchek, who is now the head of MLS Next Pro. He's been elevated to that role. There's some speculation that he could be a contender to follow Don Garber into the commissioner role of Major League Soccer. Now,
is Don Next Pro?
What? No, I'm sorry. Was that a joke? I missed it. I'm sorry. I was reading this stuff. So you mentioned the piece at Backheel. Support Backheel, by the way. Support Joe Lowry. 40 to 50 teams. They would obviously have to go outside of the reserves team model. And right now, how many independent teams are there in MLS Next Pro, not counting AC Grand Rapids? 2. We got Carolina Core and Chattanooga, right? There was at one point going to be Rochester was going to be MLS Next Pro team, and then that all collapsed.
Yeah, Vardy ran away.
Jamie Vardy situation, which he didn't actually pay any money into the. Remember how we talked about ownership schemes and big names attached to these? Sometimes there's not actually money changing hands. It's not really an investment, so to speak. I don't know that I'm firm on this, where I'm like, this stinks. I don't like MLS Next Pro. Get it out of here. There are probably places where it makes sense. I don't know if it makes more sense for Grand Rapids to be an MLS Next Pro team than a USL team. There are different criteria. There's different money involved. If you just want to get a team off the ground, I imagine that the structure that MLS provides, and probably the buy-in being what it is attractive. If you want independence, complete and total independence, well, then there's only one way to go, and that's USL. I'm leaving NISA out of this. Well, maybe one day we'll be talking about them again. They're not really a factor. I don't know that this does feel like, again, the soccer wars are heating up. It's not just about like Chattanooga Red Wolves versus Chattanooga FC. It's not just that. it's kind of this general sense that there's going to be marketplaces, there are going to be towns, sorry, there's going to be cities where MLS Next Pro is going to want to be, where they may even have interest from local ownership. And is that okay? Is that better? Or does that cause a problem if there are two teams, a la Chattanooga, right? Which I don't think has gone all that great for either one of those teams. I think it could be better, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that it's like, again, we've talked about territorial rights. USL has their own. US Soccer is not in a position, legally speaking, to say you can't go into that market with your team because there's already a USL team or there's already a team for a different league. They can't really do that without getting sued. That's not how this works. But there is a sense that this isn't great for American soccer. So there are no barriers to this. And I guess again, what is the strategy here from MLS in terms of what Next Pro is going to be? Is it just a developmental vehicle, or is it supposed to be its own entity? In which case, again, having all the reserve teams and the twos and the Bs doesn't seem to fit that idea.
I've seen some speculation that the Next Pro is just kind of a placeholder for maybe a future MLS second division, and the reserve teams kind of get put to the side, and they're trying to fill up a whole like minor league system and almost become like the more of a baseball or a hockey sort of a thing where there's
Right,
farm
right. Which
teams and that
again,
sort of a thing.
you and I are in a position where we say we don't love that. I think most of the ultras and our listeners, our viewers, don't like that idea of kind of being subservient, being a developmental vehicle, being a farm team, which we've already talked about on this show. Most people don't like that, but I can see it as there might be a lot of people who don't care, who just don't care. And again, different kinds of supporters, the hardcore, the diehards, the I'm really into this, I want my team to be independent, I want it to be its own thing, are going to probably reject the idea of MLS Next Pro in most cases. But there will probably be people, especially families, kids who don't know the difference and don't care, who are going to just go out to the MLS Next Pro game. And by the way, in the chat right now, very good conversation about how MLS Next Pro, not only is it a lower barrier in terms of maybe expansion fee, Rob, but it's also that travel and the other costs that come along with running a professional soccer operation are smaller because there's more teams to play. They have dotted the map more than a USL League One, which is essentially the same level.
Yeah, that's definitely worth considering. And again, we shall see how this all plays out. We are at the forefront of the proxy war, the war of the soccer war here in the United States, moving down to the lower divisions, it would seem.